From Wall Street to Main Street, this is Lalate.
It's a big evening of evenings LA with incredible great news about your fourth stimulus check update of 2021 today. In this recording, we'll go over that monthly stimulus check and why you're likely to get more months of checks. Then we cut to the recon and done. Deal. A deal on the price tag, $3.5 trillion. All checks, $3.5 trillion of checks, will be going out to the American people in the fourth stimulus recon. I'll go over some of those checks with you in this incredible breaking news. Then we go over the vote, the bill, the dates, everything you need to know. There's a vote tomorrow, but what is it for? Is it for a bill or is it not for a bill? And what does it mean for us in the recon? It's all exciting great news in the final 15 of this final 14 days of your stimulus battle. And then we turn to the big money of this stimulus this fall that raises your benefits up if you are a beneficiary. SSI to VA, yes, it's happening. But what happened with the 10-year Treasury to note today? As Wall Street went up after crashing on Monday, but the 10-year Treasury note continued to falling, is the falling of interest rates signaling that your benefits will go down or will they be going up? I have all the great news in the second half of this video. And then we turn to the big money across the board, tens of thousands of dollars. One viewer this morning revealed he got $18,000 from this channel this week. I have all the exciting details. It's a big evening. It's a big night. There's so much exciting details. Let's get to it. Starting right here, right now on Lalate. Hope you're having a beautiful week. So far, the week has been beautiful. It's been absolutely gorgeous here in Santa Monica. Cool, breezy, not hot. But by the end of the week, it's supposed to be horrible. So let's see what happens. Jump in the live chat. Tell me where you're tuning in from and how's the weather. In this fourth stimulus check update of 2021, so much breaking news, so much wonderful news. First, that monthly stimulus check. The Democrats represent you're going to get one. And you're likely to get more checks because of something that's happening around the United States right now. Then we turn to the exciting details. Deal on the recon, $3.5 trillion of checks coming to the American people. There's a deal on the price tag, a deal on the recon, and I'll go over some of those checks that all of you are getting. Then we turn to the exciting details of the bill, the vote, everything you need to know, and what bill, what item is going for a vote tomorrow. Is it a bill or is it not a bill? It's only a bill sitting on Capitol Hill? No, it's sitting here, and we'll go over all the details. And then we turn to fifth stimulus, which heats up this fall, raising up your benefits. It's the promise of the lifetime for the president when running for presidency, but now it's happening in this fall. And I'll go over all the great numbers across the board. And then today, one viewer revealing he got $18,000 from Snap. Nisi getting $23,000 for his channel. Viewers are getting upwards of $20,000 or plus dollars from this videos of this channel. It's your day to get this money as well. And this is Lalate, America's only 24-hour day, 7 days a week financial news channel in America. Live in the morning and taped in the afternoons. Coming up next is Overnight's Crypto, which is currently airing on this channel. This video will take you there. And then Sirloin at 8, so subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record in 1 year. Next stop, 1 million. I want you part of this subscribe, part of this family. The best family, the most informed, and the most educated. Let's get to all the exciting details. Also, like the video. 3,000 likes. Every like helps in the algorithm rankings. And consider becoming a member, starting first with that monthly stimulus check. Well, you heard the governor of New York, the first governor I think I have heard since Delta really started spiking numbers, saying if you don't fix it, then I may put the mask mandate back in place. The pandemic is now confirmed, not over. And with that, the House bill, Pandemic Plus 1 Year, looks like the contender. Stimulus checks, monthly. House bill, Pandemic Plus 1 Year. Senate proposal, July to December. Let's go over the payouts. House bill, $1,000 a month after the first month. Senate amount monthly, unknown, but word on the street is it's this deliciousness. $2,000 over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 over 6 months, $8,400. It was 3 weeks ago that we said, well, maybe the pandemic's not over. And then 2 weeks ago, we said, well, the pandemic does not look over. LA starting to reverse its mask mandate, and then officially reversing the mask mandate last week. When we said the pandemic's not over, what are we saying this week? The pandemic's really not over. Delta numbers through the roof in 50 states. Florida out of control. States just really, really getting badly hit. Even LA County being badly hit by Delta today, we realized. If that's the case, then the House bill would pay pandemic plus 1 year, which would be more than 12 checks, which would be more than $13,000. Compare that to this. I think you have an opinion. I think you have an opinion. Jump on the live chat right now and vote House or Senate. House or Senate. Tell me where you're tuning in from. And how's the weather? Vote House or Senate right now. Things have changed quickly. Who gets this fourth stimulus check? Democrats represent that if you got a third, you're going to get a fourth. Single individual, $75,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Married couple, $150,000 or less. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Double it. Family of four. Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. Quadruple it. And if you're on benefits, SSI, SSDI, VA, all of ya, Democrats want you to have a fourth stimulus check. The fourth stimulus check is not income. It's not taxable. The fourth stimulus check will be the same amount for all individuals, including adult dependents. And on Sunday, I live streamed from the beach in a rare broadcast. Haven't done a live stream on location for a while. I was on the beach, and one of the viewers in the comments said, "Hey, Lalate, is that the check behind you? Wave at the check." I said, "It's not a waveable check." He said, "Go wave at the check." So I waved at the check. The check didn't wave back. And the viewer said, "See, Lalate, it's not a waveable check." I said, "It's a root check." The viewer said, "It's not a root check. It's just not a waveable check." I just love it when the viewers have all my lines. Fourth stimulus check would land on the month of July, the Democrats represented, and in the month of July and the month of August for the month of August. But in the second part of this video, we have some incredible, great news. Done deal. The fourth stimulus recon deal has been hatched. Price tag done. $3.5 trillion. Checks, lots of checks for the American people. And they've agreed, a deal done, that they're passing the recon. All that's left is actually to vote on the recon. In the third part of this video, we'll go over when that actual vote will happen. And guess what? It looks like it will potentially be in the next 7 days. The final 15 minutes of this video goes over the final 14 days of the fourth stimulus battleground. And then we turn to fifth stimulus, which raise your benefits up a lifetime. Oh my goodness. But the 10-year Treasury note was falling. Interest rates were falling. Are interest rates impacting inflation rates? I'll explain that in the second half of this video. But let's get some money. And boy, you are killing it. When I launched this, when I started covering this a few weeks ago, I said that for rent, I could get you $5,000 of rent. Now viewers are getting $20,000 of rent, like Nisi, who got $23,000 across the board. When I talked about utilities, I said $300. Viewers are getting $3,000, like you. And then when I talked about SNAP, I said $5,000 to $6,000. John getting $10,000 to $12,000. And then this morning, on Mornings LA, I forgot the person's name. I think it was Lou, but I'm not positive. Said he got $18,000 for SNAP because of this channel. Wow. I mean, we're at near record levels, folks. Imagine if that individual got rent, also like Nisi's rent. He got his $18,000 for SNAP and $20,000 of rent like Nisi. Then he's at $38,000. Boy, you're killing it. Post your rent that you've gotten from the channel in the live chat right now. Post your utilities. Post your SNAP. Because this is what this channel does. In April this last year, this channel launched to give people money, not to track checks, but to cash checks. The EIDL grant and EIDL loan was not coming out, and so there was no check to track. What I do, I got viewers $25 million of checks to cash, stepping in and getting their applications approved. But in fall 2020, we were waiting for second stimulus to happen. It was not. So there, again, was no check to track. But we got $250,000 of checks to cash. I got viewers a fortune of rent, like Tyrone, family Ford out of Boston, got $15,000 cashed from this channel. Now we're doing it again, but you are absolutely a success story. Post your success stories in the live chat right now. You are getting numbers that are absolutely blowing the lid through the roof. I've never seen numbers like this. I am so proud of you. Get a pen and paper ready, because if you've not gotten these monies, I'm going to go over them right now for you. And if you got one, I want you to get to the other sums of money right now. Each place has different eligibility. If one says no, reach out to the next. Ultimately, understand that you need to apply. Don't ever not apply thinking that you don't qualify, because every place has different eligibility. You're going to reach out to 6 different places, and people say my keywords is why they're getting approved and finding it easily. So listen to these keywords. You're going to reach out to 6 places: City Hall, City Housing Authority; County Hall, County Housing Authority; State Hall, State Housing Authority. Keywords you're going to say are rent assistance because of COVID, or mortgage or utility assistance because of COVID. You don't say words they don't know, like stimulus, or Mitch's Teal Monster costume party. They don't know that. They don't want to know that. I don't really want to know that. That sounds scary. So go around one more time. Give me another range of options. Yeah, I don't want to know that. So there you go. Congratulations, Tim and Linda, who got this wonderful money for rent. If you got rent utilities, post in the live chat right now. Let's get to some Snap. Yep, Lou got $18,000 for this channel. I just can't believe it. John, 12,000, 10,000, 12,000. It's just mind-blowing. I'm so proud of you. What is SNAP? It is money for food. How do you get it? From Department of Agriculture. How much does it pay? A fortune, as you're seeing. Upwards of $16,000 for a family foreign boss in Hawaii. Why so much money? Because of two wonderful executive orders, one from Biden, one from Trump, that raise your benefits up 15%. So go get it. Ling got it for herself, her son, and her mom. Gail got it as well. And the next pot of the money is coming up. But post your SNAP as well. You are killing it. $15,000, $16,000 for SNAP, but in that case of viewers, $12,000 and $18,000. Rent, $5,000 for a lot of viewers, but in some cases, most cases actually, now $12,000 to $20,000 of rent. And we are only 10 minutes into the video. We're flying. Next part of the money is the refund check back from your state due to computer error of unemployment benefits. Well, the federal government has ordered those states to return the money back to you. Where's it landing direct deposit? Can you track it? Yeah, call up your state and say, hey, state, where is that check due to overpayment of computer error? And can you track it with a computer that actually works this time? And the last wonderful pot of money is the refund check due to unemployment benefits of IRS that you pay taxes on. We have an update about that from IRS. Now, Margaret, Cod, Michael have gotten this refund check, but others have not. And so IRS gave us an update that the latest round has gone underway. New wave of checks. The latest round, the average check is $1,265. Wow, $1,265, my goodness. Direct deposit checks start July 14th, and paper checks start July 16th. There'll be a new wave of checks from the IRS every week this summer. So if you do see the IRS at the beach, no, don't wait. There you go. Now, if you have gotten any money in this channel, post in the live chat. You know why it's important to post? 3 reasons. 1, it inspires other people to get the money. People see these numbers and they realize, wait a second, why am I trying to track a check when I should be cashing these checks? $18,000, I'm going to go get this. Number 2, it inspires someone who got 1 item, get 3 items. So you just saw that one viewer go at $18,000 for SNAP. Well, he may look at Art Sullivan, who got 3 items, and say, wait, Art got 3, I'll get 2 more. I'll kill it. I'll bring it to $30,000 I got from this channel. And then finally, it updates us about the numbers. Yeah. I mean, who knew these numbers were so enormous? It also updates us about things like IRS checks coming back. So when is that IRS check coming back? Let's say you had paid $9,000 of, let's say you got $9,000 on unemployment benefits. You pay $5,000, of which $4,000 was your taxes on unemployment benefits. Congratulations, you're getting back $4,000. Where? Direct deposit, otherwise in the mail. When? This month. Can you track it? Yeah, about 70% of the time you can. Go to irs.gov, do a transcript search. And it'll reveal stuff you never saw. It'll reveal stuff you never wanted to see. It'll reveal stuff you don't want anyone else to see. It'll reveal the tax return you file, the taxes you pay. It'll reveal when Mitch appeared on Star Search, did he cover Britney? When Mitch was on Star Search, did he sing a tribute song to Chuck Schumer and chose a Britney song, Slave to You? There you go. It'll also reveal the tax return check that came back from IRS. Can we top that? We can. I don't know if I can top that joke. But here we go. We go into the second part of the fourth stimulus check updated 2021, starting right now. Deal. I'm so excited. Deal. There is a deal on the recon. It's the price tag, and that they're all in green. It's done. The package that they agreeing, they're passing the package. It's a historic moment because there's 2 ways they start. They first agree, are we going to agree we're going to pass the recon? Yes. Are we agreeing upon the price? Yes. $3.5 trillion, which is just checks, and only checks for you. How do we get to this wonderful spot? They had a recon originally. It had roads and bridges in there. Too big. They had to take the roads and bridges out and shrink it. And by shrinking it, it made it passable. Before that, it wasn't passable. That's why they couldn't vote on it by July 4th. It wasn't passable at that time. Now it's passable. And it has passed for purposes of the price tag. Conservative publication has confirmed the news, and that conservative publication said the following, that the higher the price tag was on the recon, the harder it was to pass. There you go. But by allowing the Democrats to take out some of the spending and put it in the bipartisan, there you go, roads and bridges, the overall price tag of the recon got smaller. Easy. In other words, the bipartisan deal made the recon passable. There you go. Sorry, Mitch. Sorry to set you up. So, ironically, the whole tide has turned because Mitch doesn't feel set up, nor do the Republicans. They love the bipartisan, and they're getting it done, they say. And they say the vote is imminent. I'll explain how imminent later in this video. It's getting very exciting. Now, when they shrunk that recon so that became possible, the progressives were able to add things back in there, and those adding things back in there has given this wonderful price tag of $3.5 trillion. It's a big, bold, beautiful number that all progressives are applauding. Before that, they said they had to go big and bold, and they got it. Representative Richie Torres said we have to go to a larger reconciliation bill. Well, you got it, Richie. $3.5 trillion. Congratulations. Representative Ilhan Omar previously said they got to give us a recon legislation that goes as far as we want. Well, you got it. Congratulations, Elon. You got it at $3.5 trillion. The progressives were meeting with the White House daily to ensure that the recon went big and bold enough. How do we get to the spot? By the progressives really protecting the recon, because the president had said that the items in the recon are really his priorities. Brian Shaw said that the White House considers the progressive priorities in the recon his priorities, and Jalapal said the president said, thank you for protecting them. Now, what is a recon? How does it get voted on? And when do we see it? And what are the other names for a recon? First, let's go over those other names. You'll hear me on this channel just use two names, recon or reconciliation and bipartisan. But it's important to note that mainstream media and the president use other words, so you have to hear those other words so you know what they are if you do hear them. Recon and bipartisan, that's pretty easy. Those are the words I use on this channel. But what are the other names for these words? Other words for these names. Recon, also reconciliation, obviously. And then also it's called budget bill. How do you recognize it? The price tag. So if you see the price tag in the article, you'll recognize it, $3.5 trillion. The people quoted in the article, you'll recognize it, a Bernie Sanders or a Jalapal. Then bipartisan, you'll recognize it when it's called bipartisan or infrastructure, roads and bridges. You'll recognize it by price tag, smaller, $1.5 trillion. And you'll recognize it by the people quoted in the article, like a Kristen Sinema or a Mitt Romney. So there you go. Now, what is a recon? A recon is actually two bills, reconciliation procedural, reconciliation substantive. I'll get to the substantive, procedural sort of boring. So the substantive is written by Democrats for Democrats, that passed by Democrats, but who actually writes it? House subcommittees. House subcommittees under the Constitution are responsible for the subject matter that they're delegated. And House Ways and Means subcommittee in the House is responsible for stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. So what they do is they write that part of the bill. Now, let's say we have 10 subcommittees and 10 pages they're each writing. Well, when they finish writing those 10 pages, they're combined, 10 of 10, 100 pages sent up to Chuck Schumer. He puts a big S on it, and that is your reconciliation bill. Those House Ways and Means subcommittee members work in conjunction with the senators while writing it. But under the Constitution, they're not required to show you what they're doing. They don't have to show you what they're writing, what they're not writing, what they're including or taking out, or what they're voting or voting against. They don't have to show you. Now, when Chuck debuts that reconciliation, then we see it with an S on it. Mainstream media confirms my reporting, saying we have not seen the recon because the Democrats don't want to show us, not for any negative reason, just it's sort of like a pop single with their album coming out. They don't want to show you the tracks until the album's actually out. So this is important to understand. The recon has not been debuted publicly. It's as simple as that. To which there's always going to be a naysayer or an uninformed person who's going to jump in the chat that says, I haven't heard that there is in the, no, you haven't heard because no one showed it to us. You shouldn't be able to hear it unless you illegally downloaded it from a music site. There you go. And that is the wonderfulness of the recon. How do we get to this great spot? From Jalapal. Jalapal had written a letter to Chuck, saying, Chuck, call the vote on the recon. The letter was co-signed by 12 House Democrats, part of 100 plus, who wrote the president a letter saying, we're going to be putting monthly stimulus checks to the fourth stimulus package. Wow, can we top that? Yes. As 12 members of the House Ways and Means subcommittee, oh, the one you just went over, yeah, that one, wrote the president a letter recently saying, we're going to put monthly stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. Monthly? Yep, they said monthly. Whoa, that's exciting. They wrote your third stimulus check, and they represent they're giving you a fifth as well next year. We got to hold them to their promise about this fourth stimulus check. Keep your promise, House Ways and Means. And then can we top that? We can. As the president has gotten it official, the global minimum corporate tax rate minimum, that's a tongue twister, is now officially law. You saw the president go overseas 4 weeks ago and sign a ceremonial signature, but that was just ceremonial. The official signature came days ago, and this is wonderful news. Why? Because that global minimum corporate tax rate minimum thing is just so hard to say. And it's easier to not have it in the recon because now it's easy to pass the recon. Why? Number one, it's easier to write the recon because that confusing thing's not in there. No joke. Number two, it's easier to call a vote on the recon because that confusing thing's not in there. It's easier to vote on the recon because that confusing thing's not in there. And it's easier to vote in favor of that recon because that confusing thing's not in there. Can we top that? We can. As we go into the final 15 of your final 14 days of the fourth stimulus recon coming up in just a second. I'm going to go over what Chuck's doing tomorrow, what Chuck did today, what Chuck's doing all this week, what he isn't doing, what he is doing, and when the vote, the dates, and all the deliciousness of fourth stimulus heats up. I'll also go over the deliciousness of that $3.5 trillion of checks coming to you. Checks, 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 and more checks. But then we'll also cut to fifth stimulus, and I'll go over whether that drop of the 10-year Treasury note is bad news or no news. No news. No nose news. That's coming up in the second half of this video. But can we top that? Yes. The volunteers. If you've had problems finding that rent, utilities, and internet, don't worry. The volunteers are here to help you if you try and you can't find it. How do you find that? Open the description. Go down the description and you will find the volunteers. They're at the community page, news.la.com/community. You'll see an emoji of a house. Click that link and it'll send you there. They're separated from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Reach out to them to help you get that big money, and I will be back with you in 60 seconds with the final 15 of your final 14. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join Lalate Daily for the excitement of the new Lalate live daily. The excitement starts on mornings Lalate at 9 a.m. Home Lalate returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons Lalate at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on Lalate. And the excitement continues right now on a beautiful evening of Evenings Lalate, direct from Santa Monica with the final 15 of your final 14. In this big broadcast, Wall Street rebounded today after a stark downturn yesterday. 10-year Treasury notes continues to fall. What does that mean for fifth stimulus? And then fourth stimulus is heating up. We'll go have the final 15 or final 14 coming up in this video. So subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record. Next stop, 1 million. 400,000 in 1 year. Let's get to 1 million. Hit that subscribe button. I want you part of this family. Like the video. 2,000 to 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. At the end of this video is also a personal message. Let's get right into the excitement. Stay on this video. It'll automatically take you to overnight's crypto. And then Sirloin is back tonight at 8 o'clock. He'll be eating the grass as promised. So fifth stimulus is very exciting because the president promised you SSI reform during the run for presidency, did not deliver. Then promises during the transition papers did not deliver. So now the congressional Democrats are putting it in there for you. This will include rising your benefits up, removing the asset limit, adding inflationary benchmark, removing the marriage penalty, and removing the income exclusion. How does this work and who gets it? Let's go over the details. First, they'll raise your benefits up. Who's you? You. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, or SSA, or multiple beneficiaries, then they'll apply a benchmark. So they'll start this by drafting in September, call into a vote about October, November. Then it'll become law about October, November. And then the benchmark will be applied in December. And that benchmark will be inflation. Inflation's going up. Jay Powell, Federal Reserve, said last week. Same thing he said last year. Not last year, last month. And so how high is this inflation going? Well, the exciting great news is that much of Wall Street in the last few days, and certainly this week as well, said that inflation rate is going up to about 5%. My number. So there you go. Now, the 10-year Treasury note fell today. Does that impact us? Well, the 10-year Treasury note fell Monday, and it fell today, and may continue to fall all week long. But is that inflation, or does that an indication of inflation? No. So inflation gauges how much milk, eggs, gasoline costs. Whereas the 10-year Treasury note or interest rates gauges how strong the economy is, how strong the growth of the economy is. So as Delta ravages out of control suddenly, then the 10-year Treasury note will fall because it thinks maybe the economy will not grow. But that doesn't mean that the milk or eggs you go buy will suddenly drop in price. They may still be very high, or they may actually get worse. Well, Jay Powell says they're going up and getting worse. There you go. So no, your benefits will still step up, and then they'll apply a new benchmark. The benchmark will be inflation. And then if the inflation rate is 5%, your benefits will go up 5%, not just next year, lifetime. Because once your benefits step up, they never step down. So let's say the inflation rate is 2% the year after that, you'll be at +5 plus 2%. Wonderful news. Then they're going to move the asset cap, dating back to 1980s law that says you can't stay on benefits and have more than $3,000 in hand. Time to have some Taco Tuesdays in your hand. And also some stimulus checks. They're going to move the income cap, dating back to a 1960s law that says you can't work and also stay on benefits. Now you'll be able to work and also stay on benefits. And finally, the marriage penalty is going to go away. Love is going to win, and you'll be able to marry your longtime love interest. You'll no longer fear loss of benefits. And viewers like Rob and Sandy will be able to get married and no longer worry about the marriage penalty. And there you go. That's fifth stimulus. Now, the president has also dedicated $1 billion to Social Security Administration. That's great to ensure your checks go out on time. And if you're missing the first, second, or third stimulus check, file a tax return and request it. On that tax return, if you haven't done it, go to a tax preparer. And then finally, yep, those House Ways and Means Subcommittee members have promised a fifth stimulus check. It's next year, would not overlap with fourth. So there you go. Time for the final 15 of the final 14. What is the final 15 of the final 14? The final 15 minutes of every video goes over what I anticipate to see in these potentially final 14 days of the fourth stimulus battle. Why is it 14? Because it looks like it's about at the finish line. Let's go over the details, starting with the recon, then go to the bipartisan, back to the recon. First, deal. This is huge. The fact that there's a deal to agree to pass the recon and a deal about the price of the recon is enormous. Tim Kaine calls it enormous because all they have to do now is just slot the prices into the items. Very easy breezy. Next, also really great news, is the price. The price is enormous because $3.5 trillion is enormous. Bernie Sanders went into the meeting and asked for $7 trillion. He came out with $3.5 trillion, celebrating. Why? Because he said he can do the same thing that he wanted with $7 trillion just with half the amount of money. Easy. Simple. He says he's basically just doing the same thing over less number of years. That makes sense. Progressives a proclaimed celebration after the agreement of the $3.5 trillion. They said all this gets is just every single type of check that they wanted for the American people. Checks, 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 and more checks. What are those checks? Well, you're not supposed to see what's in the recon. But in addition to their claim that they're giving you a stimulus check or checks in there, I have some of the other checks that comprise the 3.5 trillion. Here we go. Checks for free school meals for all, checks for tax breaks, checks for cheaper prescription medication, checks for immigration reforms, checks for greener farming, checks for money for elections, checks for free internet. They're going to be giving money to the local cities to ensure that internet is free for all. Checks for clean energy. And here come the workers and my seniors. Checks and checks for you. Workers, checks for paid sick leave, and also for independent contractors and unions and collective bargaining. And then for seniors, checks for you, including Medicare expansion, dental checks, vision checks, hearing care checks, and more. Wow, that's all exciting details. All right, let's cut over to the bipartisan. The bipartisan is really getting excited because, boy, they said they basically got it done as of last Thursday. They said doing the provisions is easy. They say they're almost done, and that once they're done, that all they have to do is slot it into bill format. Mitt Romney's the guy who said that, and I have full faith in Mitt Romney because he moves fast, so I think that's totally fine. He also said that they think the vote will be on the infrastructure bill this week. What? Do I think that's going to happen? No, I don't want to be I don't want to be naysayer, but I just think it's a little wishful thinking. But it's great news for us. Why? Because mainstream media and myself both say that we think that the infrastructure vote will be next week. And if that's the case, then the recon vote, our money, could be as early as this week, if not next week. Wow. Yes, remember, the recon has to go vote before the bipartisan. Here we go. This is exciting. How many steps of voting do they have to do? 12. Does not take 12 days. Senate subcommittee, Senate floor, House back to the president, sign into law. And there you go. 12 steps, not necessarily 12 days. What is being voted on this week? On Afternoons Lalate, I said that the vote was today because that's what Chuck originally said it. Now he says the vote is tomorrow. So what is Chuck doing for a vote tomorrow, Thursday, for? Let's go over the details. The vote is for something which is very clear, but I want to slow it down so make sure you hear it clearly. Chuck Schumer on Thursday will call a vote for the end of discussion and negotiations about the bipartisan infrastructure several days thereafter. So let's say that again. End of discussion, meaning no more talking about the bipartisan, the roads and bridges, not that day, but a few days thereafter. Pretty easy. It's pretty easy to understand that. So it is not a vote on the infrastructure bill. It's just a vote to end discussion about it. Will it pass? No, absolutely not. It's not. He's not going to get support for it. The reason why he's doing it is to put fire under people's feet to get things done. And it's working. They worked over the weekend. And as Mitt Romney says, he thinks that the vote could happen this week. Wow, this is all real exciting. Now, it's important for you to know that as we get close to the finish line, there's becoming more and more people that simply do not value information, that are not viewers of this channel, and simply sort of flow through and suddenly say things as though they know something we don't know. Isn't that sort of insulting? It's like they think they know everything and no one else knows anything. And ironically, they know nothing. I expect 150% throughout this week, the following sort of confused people jumping in the chat and posting the following comments. I heard Chuck call a vote on the infrastructure bill, and it didn't pass. No, he didn't call a vote on the bill. He called a vote to end discussion about the infrastructure. Oh, same thing. No, it's not the same thing. It's not a vote about a bill. Then they're going to confuse the two items. Then they're going to say, I heard Chuck call a vote on the reconciliation bill, and it didn't pass. No, he didn't call the vote on any bill. He didn't call a vote on the reconciliation at all. Oh, I heard he called a vote on something, and he didn't mention stimulus checks, so you're not getting one. No, he did not call a vote on something. He called a vote to end the discussion about the infrastructure. You need to read a little bit more before you comment. So there you go. I fully believe that just some people that just don't want to hear the whole story, and they sort of just wander around, buzz, and they like land, and they're like, can I get my fly swatter? Bam. So you just not listening. So next, it's important to note that the final 14 days, which potentially could be these final 14 days, is where things get very changing, very dramatic in those final 14 days. The reason we call it Purple Power Push is because you push, you don't ask. Here is Donut Guy. When? Donut Guy starts every sentence with a when. Purple Power Push never asks when. They tell you, hey, bipartisan group, write the bill. You're taking too long. That's what Purple Power Push says. They don't ask them, when are you going to get, no, get it done. You're taking too long. Come on now. And what's important to note is that these final 14 days is where things move very quickly. Let me give you a reference point. When second stimulus was introduced by Nancy Pelosi in April of last year, the HEROES Act, 3.9 trillion or whatever, however big it went nowhere for months. It went nowhere. And finally, by December, I had it. I looked at the continuing resolution, a budget bill to pay for the federal government and its operation. I said, hey, put a stimulus check in there. People looked at me like, is he crazy? Where's he from? Oh, he's from LA. That explains it all. Sorry. No, I said, put a stimulus check in there. I mean, you got to put somewhere and we ain't getting it. So put it in there. And we started CR for stimulus. You pushed it and they noticed. It trended nationally. And then suddenly we made history. They came back one morning and said, yes, we're putting stimulus in the CR. Oh, we said, thank goodness. And we looked at it and it was the wrong stimulus. Unemployment stimulus? Seriously? We asked for a stimulus check. What are you doing? Did you not listen to us? And so for a few more days, we had to push again to get it in there. Remember, it was not in there after they put the other stimulus in there. Oh, those people. So we had to push to get it in there. And then they came back and they put a stimulus check in there. But over the next day or and a half approximately, the check just went everywhere. It went up in price, down in price, out in eligibility, short in eligibility. Not for this, maybe for that, and then in and out, and finally it settled into its place. And we're all done, we thought. And then someone I'd never heard of, Sandra Peck Toomey, came out of nowhere, said, I'm going to blow this all up. There's a thing I don't like. It has nothing to do with stimulus. It has something else. I'm going to blow it up and blah, blah, blah. And we thought, are you serious? Who is this guy? After all our work, Mitt Romney to the rescue came in and settled it all down and got it done. So it's important for you to understand that that is likely to always happen with anything with Congress and is likely to happen these final 14 days. You're going to see that recon. And when you see that recon, maybe we like it, maybe we don't like it. We got to go Senate to House, and we may have to go back to Senate. It's not very clear from the rules. I think you do, as a two-day votorama still at the end. And so there's things that could still get modified. When the recon is debuted, number one, they can still modify stuff. And trust me, the House Democrats spoke about that today. What was the expression one used? He said, I'm not a cheap date. I'm sorry, I did not say you're a cheap date. Sorry. Don't take it personal. But that was a quote he said. I'm not a cheap date. The reason he said that is he said, well, stop talking about the senators. We have a say in this also. Don't just throw stuff at me and think that you can take me to that restaurant. That restaurant and that song. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get in trouble. So I'm not a cheap date. Well, no, I'm not saying you're a cheap date. So they want to still have their whack at things and make modifications. And that's your opportunity. So you need to push Purple Power. And along the ways, things may still get modified. Finally, it's important to note that as things get to the finish line, things get confusing. And you saw that earlier in this video, how things sometimes get confusing, but you have done an incredible job. This channel launched in spring of last year when people were not getting their EIDL loans approved, and I made a gazillion videos explaining, fix this and modify it this way so that you modify it that way so you get this. And that's why this channel succeeded, because I figured out how to fix things. You love information. And when you love information and information is king, you know exactly what's going on. But as someone sort of buzzes through the comments, bzzz, and so say, it's not in there. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. I didn't. Can you just get out of here? Yeah. Say respectfully to them, hey, you just don't know. You just need to learn what's going on before you speak. Finally, it's important to remember that this is a chat room. And as a chat room, people sometimes may be positive, may be negative. That's one subject. But the whole other subject is totally different. When someone jumps into a chat and then goes on an attack against viewers. Someone did this on Mornings LA, and while I was mentioning it, someone did this on Early Mornings LA. And while I was discussing it again on Mornings LA, another person came into the chat and started going after viewers on the attack, bullying and harassing them. If you think that a viewer is going into the live chat and bullying and harassing viewers or yourself or someone else, there's a function to secure that. Go next to the person's comment and click the link. It'll open up a window and it says report. If you think that you've been a victim of bullying or harassing by another person who's probably not a Purple Power member, certainly not my Purple Power members, and certainly not a subscriber, and you think that's happening, report the person. Because guess what? If you see that person bothering 20, 30, 40 people in a room and they all report that person will be gone not in 50 minutes, in 50 seconds, not just from this channel, but from the platform, because that's how it works. And so there's no time or place for people to go after people like that. And as I saw on Early Mornings Lalate, I was horrified. And then to say and to explain that same situation on Mornings Lalate and someone was doing it again, really horrifying. I sign into Twitter in the mornings, and then suddenly the first comment I'm tagged on is someone saying, "Go back to work, you're lazy," and blah, blah, blah. Oh my goodness. But for someone to just sort of go into a chat room that has 1,000 people and just sort of swarm at them, do not accept it. And that's totally different than someone coming to the chat saying, "You know what, I don't know about the July date." That's a different realm. When a person's attacking you, that is next level and not acceptable. And don't take it. So with that, coming up next is Overnight's Crypto. I look forward to seeing you on that show. And then Sirloin at 8 o'clock. He will be eating the grass. So if you have not mowed the lawn, don't worry. He's taking care of it. And with that, subscribe. A 400,000 subscribers on YouTube record. I want you part of this channel. Hit that subscribe button right now. Like the video, too. 3,000 likes. Every like helps. And consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. I didn't mention Purple Power pushing in tonight's video, but I know you remember to do it. Always push Purple Power down to the final second. They can make modifications until it's law. Stay informed, stay focused, and stay with LA Purple.